One of the many reasons that people would choose FreeBSD as an operating system would be to run a web server. So in this video, we're going to look at how to set up a FreeBSD, Apache, MySQL and PHP. The de facto standard for running a web server on the internet with FreeBSD or Linux for that matter would be to use the web server Apache, the HTTPD daemon Apache. It's a nice and easily configurable web server with massive amounts of documentation out there. Not my personal choice. I would usually go for Nginx. However, it is the de facto default. So let's get that installed and set up and see how it goes. We're going to go through the whole thing: FreeBSD install, Apache install, MySQL install, and PHP. Let's jump into it and have a look. So we're going to boot from our USB media, and we're going to install FreeBSD. It's probably the easiest part. I've done this in a few videos, so I'm going to kind of jump through it. We'll just speed this up a bit. Choose your language. Now when it comes to swap size, I usually go half of what the physical memory is. In this case, the physical memory is 16 gig, so 8 gig for swap. You do what you're comfortable with. That's just how I've always done it. Only one disk in this machine, so I'll choose that to install to. Speed through this bit. Once this is all set up, we're going to use PuTTY to configure it mostly, purely because you can SSH in from anywhere, and there's an SSH client for almost every operating system on the planet. Choose your options, system configuration. Now, these are the ones that I usually go for. Again, you do you, choose the options that you want. I'm not on a laptop, so I don't really need PowerD, although technically it is a laptop board. That's irrelevant. Going to disable dtrace. We're going to configure a user. And that's pretty much it for the install. Let's get it rebooted. My phone has just notified me there's a new computer on the network. There we go, straight into FreeBSD. Right, so from now on, we're going to go over to SSH. Now I'm already logged in, so let's just double check that we've got network connectivity. So let's ping Google. There we go, we're set up. So this is just using DHCP. Now the way that I've got DHCP is that it's getting a static IP address. It's getting a reservation. There you go, this machine is always .11. So let's clear that and let's become root, because that's the first thing we really want to do. Most of the stuff we're going to do, you need root permissions. So let's just become root. There we go. First things first, let's get the software that we need. So that first one is Pico Alpine. That is my text editor of choice. You choose the one you want. If you want Vim or Vi, choose that. If you want Nano, choose that. It's essentially the same formatting as Pico Alpine. Again, it's up to you. And we want Apache. I think it's 2.4. Let me just double check that. Might be 2.5 these days. It's been a while. I think it's 2.4 still. Yep, it's still Apache 2.4. Let's go 2.5 yet? No. Then we're going to install MySQL 18, which is the default version again. So editor, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Can't remember what it is. Okay, so it's mod PHP 8.3. That's what we want to install. And we'll also install PHP 8.3 extensions. Okay, so what that's going to give us is a text editor, Apache web server, MySQL database, mod PHP, which is the interface for PH3 and Apache, and a basic set of PHP 8.3 extensions. So let's get that done. Yes. Yeah, helps if I put package install, doesn't it? Let's try that again. There we go. PHP, MySQL 80 - server. That will get you the server. So here it is, installing that along with all the dependencies that it needs. Shouldn't be a huge amount. Almost done. There we go. So that's all of that installed. Now we can start looking at configuration files. Let's have a look. So in here we will see PHP files, Apache 2.4 files, and MySQL files. So we're going to start with Apache. So there we go. There's all the files. And the main configuration... I cannot speak today. The main configuration file for Apache is httpd.conf. Let's have a quick look at it. Here it is, and this controls all aspects of Apache. The server root, its IP address, all the modules, and there are loads of modules to do all sorts of different things like authentication, loads of them, proxying, logging, lots. Now we're going to keep most of this as defaults. So there you go, there's your local www folder, so where it will serve data from. That's all set up. It should work straight away. So let's double check that. And we need to enable it first. So rc.conf, as we know, this is the main file for FreeBSD. This controls almost every aspect of FreeBSD. Apache 2.4 enable equals yes. Now we can start it. So we'll change that quickly and restart it. It doesn't have to be fully qualified, but for this we're going to go. Let's restart in case it did actually start it. There we go, no errors. So if we now go to the IP address, it should be running. Let's double check that. So that is 10. It works. So there you go, that's Apache now serving web pages. And that page that it's serving is in user local www Apache 2.4 data. And it's that index. There you go, it works. So we've changed it to it works GaryH Tech. So if I refresh that page, there we go. So next is MySQL. Now again, generally speaking, like Apache, it should just work by starting it. We can have a look at the my.cnf, which controls MySQL's stuff. There you go. It's going to bind to 127.0.0.1. That's localhost. That's probably the best way to have it. And memory usage, all of that good stuff. So we'll leave those defaults. Again, etcrc.conf. And it's MySQL 80 server. And I've missed out enable. I think that's what it needs to be. We'll soon see, because it will tell us if it's wrong. It just needs MySQL enable. Okay, like I said, been a while. So that will start up, and that is now started. So now that we've done that, we just need to run the MySQL installation. That's what it's called. That's not what it does. So MySQL secure installation, that's what we want to run. And this will just change a few configuration files for us just to get it running correctly so that we can actually log into it and add data. So here we go. Securing the MySQL server deployment, connecting to MySQL using a blank password. Validate password component can be used to test passwords. We're not going to do that. Would you like to set up a validate password component? We don't want to. Please set the password from root. Give it a secure one. Do you want to remove anonymous users? We're going to do that for now. It may come back to bite us in the bum later on, but we're going to do that for now. Normally, root should only be allowed to connect from localhost. This ensures that someone cannot guess at the root password from the network. Disallow root login remotely. Not at the moment, maybe later. Remove test database and access to it. Yes, we don't need that. Reload privileges. Yes, please. All done. So that is now set up. So what we will do is we will just restart MySQL server. There we go. So that's 2 components. Actually, it's 3 because of FreeBSD. So FreeBSD, Apache, and MySQL all set up and ready. So let's set up PHP. There is one other thing that we're going to install. That's the PHP MySQLi module, because that's going to come in handy. So package, install, and it's PHP 8.3 MySQLi. There you go. That's done. Let's have a look at our modules actually. etc PHP. There you go, there's all the modules. There's our MySQLi.ini. So next we are going to add that module into Apache, the PHP module that is. So let's cd into Apache's directory and open up the httpd.conf, and we're just going to add in the module just after the other modules. So we'll go just before the users and groups and we'll paste it in there. So this is what we need. So what this is basically saying is, if we have the dir module, add the index.php and index.html. Any files that match PHP, set the handler as x httpd PHP, and again for PHPS. So we've got that. That's great. Let's just set up the PHP ini. So we're going to go pico user local etc php.ini production. And there's nothing we really want to change in here. You can go through this and change options if you need to, but I don't need to. So we're going to just change the name of that to php.ini, and then we're going to restart Apache. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a PHP file just to test it, and we're just going to put in a simple line, that one, and that's it. So now when we go to our web server, it gives us all of our information about PHP. It really is that simple. So there we go. We have got Apache, MySQL, PHP, all set up and running. And if we go down, it tells you information about all of the modules that are loaded into PHP. And there's our MySQL. It really is that simple. Very straightforward. You can now add PHP applications as you see fit. Develop your own even, why not? Hope you find this useful and usable. Please do leave any comments below if you think there's something that needs to be added or taken out. Or as always, the Discord link is in the description. Please do have a look and say hello to people. For now, that'll do it. See you in the next video. Bye bye.